Welcome to the Sacred Conversations with the Gigantic Intellect. In this morning's therapeutic and reflective conversations with the Gigantic Intellect, I want to reflect upon something which was bothering me intellectually lately. 2 weeks ago, I was teaching learners, my business studies learners, and I was teaching a topic that speaks about quality of performance. And that particular topic got me thinking, got me fascinated, got me intellectually triggered. And I began asking myself, what is actually this thing called quality? What is quality? Because in the topic, quality is defined as the ability of a product to satisfy a customer need. But I was thinking a lot about this and I reflected a lot about this. I checked the things that are perceived to be of good quality and the things that are perceived to be of not good quality. And one thing that I realized is these things are all about branding, marketing, and advertising. They are not necessarily about the performance of a product, but they are more about branding, marketing, and advertising. I look at confidence. I look at the things that are perceived to be of good quality. I look at the things that are perceived to be of not good quality. And I started studying human beings that are perceived to be of good value and those that are perceived to be of not good value. I look at Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is someone who brands himself as a masculine person, as someone who is very super intelligent. And I look at his articulation of words. I look at how he speaks. I look at how he holds himself. And then I realize is the thing that attracted me about Andrew Tate, it's more about how he presents himself. How he presents himself, confidence, how he walks, how he does things, how he speaks is more about branding, is more about how you hold yourself. You're going to be respected in society because of how you brand or how you have branded yourself, how you have marketed yourself. I've looked at people such as Malcolm X, because there are two versions of Malcolm X. There's this version, the Malcolm Little version, and there's the Malcolm X version. There are two different versions. The Malcolm Little version is crime-driven, is the person who's very problematic in society, but Malcolm X decided to change himself and brand himself and removed that Little last name and called himself Malcolm X when he joined the Nation of Islam. And the Malcolm X version is more of an articulate, more of a scholar, even though he never went to school, but he was that articulate, that knowledgeable, that intelligent person. I look at people such as Elijah Muhammad. There's a two version of Elijah Muhammad. There's Elijah Poole version, there's Elijah Muhammad version. The Elijah Poole version is that it's a nasty version, and that's why even debunk this Poole surname and he adopted the Muhammad version. The Muhammad version is that spiritual version, that intelligent version, that black nationalist version. It's more about branding. Honorable Elijah, Honorable Marcus Garvey. The honorable version is known for good things and whatever. So it's more about how you present yourself to the world. Those people have weaknesses. They have weaknesses. But because of how they've branded themselves, you don't even look at their weaknesses. You look more on the positive side of them. Look at people countries such as the United States. Dubai now. Look at how Dubai has branded itself. Look at the branding. When you think about Dubai, you think about beautiful flats. You think about all these good things. You think about all these positive things. Cities, beautiful high walls, buildings. You think about them, the city of Dubai. You just think about everything beautiful, successful people living there and whatever. Think about New York. You think about cities and whatever. When you think about United States, you only think about good things. And there is poverty in the US. But because of how they've branded themselves, you think about positive things when you think about them. When you think about Harvard, you think about scholars you think about prestigious scholars You don't even think that in Harvard there are people who are failing. You only think about intelligent people in Harvard. Stanford the same, Cambridge the same, Oxford the same. But when you think about Africa, you think about this depressing nation that is poverty ridden, that is driven by poverty, crime, and all these things. It's because how you present yourself in the world. We judge you because of how you've branded yourself. Years ago, Hlaudi Motsoeneng came with the concept known as 90% of 90% local music. He came with the concept of not showing the negative things in the news on SABC. He said SABC must not show negative things about them. It must only promote positivity. And he was criticized. But I now understand where he was coming from. Because it's more about how you present yourself to the world. When in your news you are showing negative things, you are depressing the nation. You are chasing investors away. America it's when they are presenting themselves to the world, they only show the positive things about them. That's why we know them as people who are developed, as people who are civilized, as people who are more advanced in terms of the human development. So when Africa, one thing that we must do, and I think Akon spoke about this, one thing as African that we must do, we must focus more about marketing ourselves in the world and projecting ourselves as these positive people. Project positive things in the world, display positive things to the world. Don't show Africa as these people, as this country that has rural areas and whatever, showing negative things about Africa. You are chasing these people away from Africa. And you've got beautiful things in Africa. You've got beaches, beautiful beaches. You've got high wall buildings. You've got the sunken cities of this world. You've got the Table Mountains of this world. Why are you showing the negative things about Africa? Why are you showing negative things about Africa? I think that is the first step that we must start now. I've decided to call myself the gigantic intellect. I hold myself as the gigantic intellect. I call myself as the gigantic intellect. It's more about I want to brand myself as this brilliant scholar. Not to say I don't have weaknesses. I do have weaknesses, but I don't focus on my weaknesses. I only focus on my positive things about me. I'm constantly growing myself. I'm constantly developing myself, reading and whatever. It's more about, I've realized that it's more about branding. Present yourself as a confident person to the world and you're going to be judged positively. Don't present yourself as this negative person, as this person who doesn't know anything. It's more about branding than anything else. I watched a video of Shahid Bolson. He's a internet personality from, I think he's an American, but he is now converted to Islam. He was speaking about the illusion of Western education. Because when we think about Western education, we think about good quality education. Whenever we think about private education, we think about good quality education. And one thing that public schools have done, which is a negative for them, is that they've presented themselves negatively, and that is why they're being judged negatively. Private education has weaknesses, but they don't talk about their weaknesses. They only focus on the positive things. It's more about branding. If we can master branding, then we will be number one in the world. It's more about branding. Africa, wake up and project yourself positively to the world. And then you see, even the generation that you're trying to groom now is going to be viewed positively. It's going to view the world more positively. Brand yourself as these beautiful leaders, as people who does things accurately. America has corruption, but when they present themselves to the world, they don't present that corruption part. They present the good management part. So why can't we do the same as African people? Why can't we do the same? We must look more on branding, because quality has to do more about branding, not about performance. It's more about branding. I'm not underrating the importance of branding. I'm not in a way in undergrading the importance of branding. I'm just saying to you, it's more about branding than performance. You'll fix your product in the market. You'll see, improve the weaknesses in the product. Because even Microsoft came in the market when it was not good. That's why you have Microsoft 2010, Microsoft 2016. You constantly improving yourself. Present yourself as a good person with your weakness, but present yourself with confidence. Present your brand as a good brand, whilst you, on the other side, you are trying to improve your brand. Africa, master branding, and you'll become the #1 economy in the world. You'll be able to program. It's more about programming than anything else. Program people to view you positively, and you will attract investment. But if you show your negative sides, then you'll chase away the investors. No one would love to associate himself with you. So yeah, this is the gigantic intellect. Know thyself and remember your ancestors. Peace.